Hi everyone and welcome back to the UGC NET Paper 1 series. Over the course of lectures, we have studied how global international agreements have shaped our collective fight against problems such as global warming, the ozone depletion, and biodiversity. We studied how these global agreements initiated during the 1990s, and over the course of years, in the perhaps in the latest couple of years, new additions, new amendments to these global agreements have made them more comprehensive. We are talking about the Kyoto Protocol, which was reshaped by the Paris Agreement, which is considered the most landmark agreement when it comes to our collective fight against climate change. We studies how India voluntarily contributes to our collective fight by submitting INDCs, that are intended nationally determined contributions. We studied how what are the parameters and what composes these INDCs. Further, we studied how ozone depletion was a big problem in the 1980s, and one of the most successful protocols, the Montreal Protocol, was signed in 1987 and came implemented in 1989. The Montreal Protocol was then amended in 2016 by the Kigali Amendment. The amendment not only reinforced our fight against ozone depletion, which has significantly reduced, but altered the Montreal Protocol in a way that it started including HFCs, which are a global warming substance. So today we move on further and we discuss what are natural resources. Now we live in a life wherever we stay, we have resources around us, but the resources provided to us by the environment itself are called natural resources. सोच के बताओ, खुद से सोचो कि आसपास आपके क्या क्या है जो आपको एक रिसोर्स की तरह यूटिलाइज करने को अलाउ करता है. We have the wind. Wind has been a natural resource since ancient times. We have the sailing boats. People used to navigate throughout the world using the wind as a natural resource. We have wood. The forest gives us wood, and wood was something that developed into fire, and fire was utilized by human beings in majority of the aspects of their life. Furthermore, fruits, vegetables, they all come from the environment. ये सब क्या है? ये सब natural resource है. हमारे पास sun, solar energy generate होती है. वो कैसे आती है? क्योंकि the sun emits UV radiation, photons, which are then converted into electricity through the solar panels. Further, water is also a very important resource, which is also a natural resource. But then these natural resources can be divided into two categories. One is the renewable category. As the name suggests, it can be renewed. It cannot be depleted. It does not extinguish. It keeps regenerating. That is why it's called the renewable energy resource. The second is the non-renewable energy resource, which gets exhausted over time. We utilize them and then it gets exhausted. We will cover these topics in details. So natural resources encompass everything nature provides without human intervention. Sunlight, atmosphere, water, land, vegetation, crops, animal life. These are all part of natural resource. Now renewable resources are those that regenerate after use. Is water a renewable resource? Perhaps yes. Water is a renewable resource because there is abundance of water. Earth is also known as the planet of water because it looks blue from the space and 70% of its surface area is covered with water. Further, renewable resources include water, wood and sunlight. Why wood? Because we can always regrow plants. We do not need soil is something that has developed over across the years, and that is the only requirement for us to grow a plant or a tree. And when that tree grows, it gives us the natural resource of wood. Resources that exhaust with frequent use and take extremely long periods to regenerate, such as natural gas, coal and petroleum. अब natural gas, coal or petroleum, we studied how coal, the fossil fuels, have developed over time. Earth is 4.7 billion years old. The universe, our planet, our solar system, the Milky Way, is 13 billion years old. Over these 4.7 billion year old Earth, what happened was various life forms took place. And then there's a continuous process of development of topography, such as mountains, and the erosion of this topography into plains. तो माउंटेन्स डेवलप होते हैं, उस पर वाटर, विंड, ग्लेशियर ऐसे एजेंट्स काम करते हैं ताकि वो माउंटेन लेवल कर दिया जाए. तो जो लेवलिंग होती है वो प्लेन पे बिछती है. So whatever resources or living beings that were there on the plains, what happens to them when they die, they get submerged by the soil or by the mineral resources that have been reduced from the mountains. तो वहां से वो भर जाते हैं. एक तरीके से एक गड्ढा खोदा, उस गड्ढे को हमने भर दिया. तो what happens is that the living human beings, remains of these living beings, even including plants, what happens is that they compress. When you have so much weight of soil on top of you, what will happen? There will be a lot of pressure. And due to this pressure, you compress. And what is left is a fossil. The fossil is then utilized by us right now as coal. It has one of the most highest specific heat. What does that mean? वो हमें लिमिटेड अमाउंट के अंदर सबसे ज़्यादा हीट जनरेट करके देता है. तो अगेन गोइंग बैक टू बेसिक्स, हाउ डज इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट? We heat the water, steam comes, and steam rotates a turbine, which generates electricity because it is connected to a magnet. And then to generate this steam, to heat the water, what is the most economically feasible raw material for us? That is fossil fuel. We don't need to do anything. We just need to dig. We will find coal. There are different types of coal depending on their heat specificity. We have the anthracite coal, which is one of the highest. We have the bituminous coal, which is abundant in India. We have the lignite and peat, which is the most polluting. Moving ahead. So, forest resources are under a threat. We discussed how deforestation is taking place. So, do you guys think that forests in India and across the world are under a threat? Think about it. Lately in the news, we have heard about the Aravallis. We have heard about the Western Ghats. We have heard about the Great Nicobar project, where a lot of deforestation is taking place for development. Now, is this development really worth it when the limited forest resources that are helping us fight against climate change, one of the biggest threats to the collective planet? Is it worth it? We will have to study. Every project has different pros and cons. Some are worth it, some are necessary. Why? Because of the geopolitics happening across the globe. But some can be thought to be different. We don't need them as such. So one of the greatest example of deforestation takes place in Sumatra. Where is Sumatra? Now I'm going to ask you a very simple question. You are at the lowest island of the Nicobars, the Andaman and Nicobars. From that island, where do you think, which place is closest? Is it Chennai, right across the coastline of India in Tamil Nadu? Or through the international waters, we come to an island called Sumatra, which is part of Indonesia, the topmost island of Indonesia? The answer is Sumatra. Nicobar is very close to Sumatra than it is to India itself. Now, what happened in Sumatra? Indonesia is one of those island nations which happens to be on the equator. And when you are on the equator, what happens? There's a lot of rainfall. Why? 0 degrees पे सबसे ज़्यादा हीट पड़ती है. उस हीट की वजह से क्या होता है? एवेपोरेशन होती है. तो एवेपोरेशन होने के बाद जब पानी ऊपर जा रहा है, what will happen? Condensation will take place and the water vapor will convert into clouds. And when the clouds tend to accumulate this water over a period of time, there is a specific humidity level which reaches, and beyond that rainfall takes place. This happens everywhere. But on 0 degrees, rainfall takes place every hour or every couple of hours. And what is most important for forests to grow is water. Where there is no water, you find deserts. So on equator, when you have abundant water, you find one of the most diverse vegetation across the planet. सबसे ज़्यादा biodiversity in terms of autotrophs, the plants, is seen on 0 degrees, the equator. And Indonesia has been a nation which had almost 70% of its land covered with forest land. But Sumatra, one of the places where you find the mighty orangutan, one of the greatest mammals and one of the most smartest mammals alive. Orangutans are those mammals which have developed, which are so intelligent that they have developed that using a stick of wood, they can dig into trees and pull out ants and eat them. That is their intelligence level. These are questions that have been asked in one of the most difficult exams of India, UPSC. But are they relevant for us? The basics are. Whatever I am teaching you, the basics, the concepts of each and every aspect of the syllabus are important. So please pay attention. So Sumatra, you can see in 1985, these are satellite images taken out from the internet directly. In 1985, Sumatra looked like this. The green area represents the forest. In 1990, you can see there is a slight reduction in the green area. Why? अब यार लोग रह रहे हैं, population है, लोगों को रहने के लिए घर चाहिए, हर जगह जंगल होगा तो घर तो नहीं बनेगा. So we tend to cut out forests so that we can develop somewhat urban areas, the cities. But then what happens in 2000 is that the greed comes into place. People have homes now, but what do they want? They want more facilities. They want a mall. They want places to go karting on, or have some more adventure and thrill. Then in 2007, what happens is that there is almost a 50% reduction in this 17 years. And why is that? That is because the government starts promoting something called the cash crops. What are cash crops? You all have heard about palm oil. It was in the news, very frequently seen in the news in the last couple of years. Why? Because it gives you trans fat. It's not healthy for our body. And palm oil is something that we utilize in almost all our foods, especially the bakery products. Now, India specifically has zero palm oil production, very limited. So a lot of the palm oil that we have in our country is imported. Where does it come from? It comes from countries such as Indonesia. Why? On the cost of forests. So these forest lands are removed and you have something called plantation, where you have the similar trees growing everywhere. You can Google the image, you can type on Google oil palm plantation in Sumatra Island in Indonesia. You will see palm trees everywhere. What happens because of this is that a lot of species, biodiversity, a lot of animals dependent on certain tree species which have been cut, they lose their habitat. This is happening with orangutan, which is critically endangered as per the IUCN Red List. So forest resources are under a threat. We just understood that through the Sumatra forest example.